All right. Today I have, we're starting a new series here at One Sparrow because we're really big about education and how education can get people out of poverty, out of situations where they need additional help. And so, one of the things that are really happening this year in the world of COVID, in all of the things that are going on, is the stimulus. And the stimulus packages have been really important here in America because they have allowed people to keep things going. They've kept our small businesses open. They've kept our schools and our organizations going. But more importantly, they've kept our families going. And with the third stimulus bill that's just happened with the new administration back in February, the American Recovery Package, I think it's called, there's going to be a lot of money that is coming into families in America over the next year. And so, one of the things we wanted to do here at One Sparrow is bring in some of the experts, some of the financial SMEs that we have access to as part of our organization to just have discussions and share information with our followers about what are some of the ways that we can be better with our money and thinking about the way we think about money. So today I have with me a regional vice president from Primerica, Miss Elsie Theodore. I have known Elsie for several years. I've known her sister for several years. She is somebody that I have consulted and trusted with my own family's personal finances. And really the reason I invited Elsie and I thought of her is she's somebody I feel like that gives sound advice, like not trying to make you feel uncomfortable, and that she's always been willing to talk with people where they're at. And so I'm so excited to bring Elsie to everyone here today. So Elsie, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone. One Sparrow followers, family. Really great to be here. Thank you, Solitaire, for trusting me. It's not easy when you're, first meeting a family and, talking to them about their money and their goals, and you've got to open up your entire soul to your financial advisor. Sometimes it's a little daunting for most people. But you start building the trust for your clients and they really understand that, like you said, my goal always is to make sure that my clients are comfortable with what I'm, with me and what I'm doing, and then they understand what I'm doing. So I'm blessed to have been asked to do this. I hope this reaches everybody. So thank you. Thank you for
Awesome.
asking me.
So we're going to have just a quick conversation today about how can we think better about money. Um, and and now if you were to get some additional money, obviously this year we're thinking about COVID and the stimulus in specifically, but I think the practice doesn't really change. A lot of the things that we want to talk about today are just things that you should be thinking about. So first off, first question I have for you is, where did you learn about money? Like, how did you first learn about money?
Oh my gosh. So many years ago, over like almost 30 years ago. Okay. I was a young single mom raising my daughter. And, I just I was looking for some insurance and just making sure that my family is protected. And the reason why I was looking for that is because my father had been diagnosed with cancer when I was in high school. And I just remember the worry my mom and my other siblings had. So when I had my daughter, I just knew that was one of the things that I needed. So I was looking for that. And when a representative sat down with me, they went over the insurance, but they also started talking to me about investing. Now, my parents, as amazing people as they were, they didn't know anything about saving or investing or any of that. My parents are not from this country, so when they came here, they didn't understand the American banking system. My mom's banking was under the mattress, so that's my first introduction to saving money. But when this financial advisor sat down with me and started educating me about money, it was a little weird from what I know. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to trust her and start putting money away. And I did that. And because of that, I was able to send my daughter to college totally debt free, and really set myself on a path for a solid retirement, purchasing my first home, But it was just that. It was just that. And when people think of investing, they're thinking, oh my God, I don't have enough money to invest. But I started putting $25 a month away. And that's really what was a game changer for me.
That's awesome. And I love that you start your story with I started small.
Yeah,
And that idea of just a little bit did something.
absolutely.
My dad, when we were growing up, my dad studies math, he studies economics. So we were blessed growing up with somebody who just understood money because not because he grew up with money. He grew up in St. Lucia. He, drove and like worked with his family since he was like 13. So he just
Right,
worked really hard.
right,
But once he learned about money, he
right,
shared that with us. And it was
right.
like, you need to understand the importance of steady plotting. Just saving a little bit makes a big
Absolutely.
difference. And
Absolutely.
so one thing I wanted to ask you is what would you say is one of the, I don't know if surprises is the right word, but one of the most surprising facts about money that like when you talk to people, they're always surprised to learn. Like you're always like,
Oh my gosh. I teach a simple rule. It's called the rule of 72. And if they've never heard of it before, they're totally shocked about essentially how quickly how long it would take for their money to double given a specific interest rate. So they don't, or rate of return rather. So they never really fathom that. So people are putting money in the banks, and Bank of America, for example, their APY is 0.01 in their savings account. But if you're investing and you're getting double digit returns, then your money grows quicker, I would say. So that's shocking to most people. So I teach the rule of 72 and we apply that.
so you mentioned a good thing about savings accounts because like I think a lot of us like especially get out of college, you're told you go to a bank and they tell you open a savings account.
Right.
So you open one. But can you explain like what's the difference between a savings account like just at like a bank account that you just get like a free savings account versus something that is actually going to really help you save or
Right.
do like what you're talking about.
Right. It's all about what rate of return you're going to be getting. So I'm not like anti-bank, right? I'm not anti-bank. I have a bank account, right? We're not keeping our monies under the mattress like my parents used to do. But it's what you're keeping in the bank. So if you're keeping the amount of money for you to pay your bills, fantastic, right? You keep most of your money in a savings. So what I teach is a 3-account approach, right? You have an emergency account, and that should ideally, especially with what we just, well, we're still going through it, right? What we've been through in 2020, what we continue to go through in 2021, with people losing their jobs, having a strong emergency fund with at least, they used to say 6 months, but now it's looking like more like 2 years of expenses saved up. And that should be in a high yield money market account. Okay. And the second account is a midterm account. So for a car or vacation or maybe a wedding you're saving for or college savings for your children should be midterm. Now, midterms, you could have several midterms, right? And then of course your long-term account is your retirement, something that you're putting away, your 401k, your IRAs, maybe some annuities thrown in there as a strategy for you to retire so that there's enough money there so that you're not struggling. So the difference is, again, how much you're going to get in the bank and how quickly is your money going to grow over time, and what do you want to see? So you put $100 in a 0.01 account, you're going to make $3 for the year. That's ridiculous, right? So whenever you have money that's sitting, it needs to sit at a higher rate of return. So I usually, help my clients divvy that up and their goals.
That's awesome. And like if I've never invested before, I've never done something like this before, how much money do I need to get started?
Well, first I start with education. I start teaching, especially if they've had no experience with investing, really having them understand what it is to invest, because it's not just putting money in the savings account, because you put $10 today, you know, or $100, you go back, you know, the next day it's still $100, right? But not so much when it's in the market, right? So we want to, you know, make sure that they understand that. But to start investing in a mutual fund is as little as $25 a month. That, I think, it's affordable for most people. Most people could do $25 a month. Listen, I was a young single parent years and years ago, you know, getting 20, you know, putting $25 a month in a mutual fund because I just felt something that I needed to do something different so that I had a different life. And thank God I did.
So for people who are listening to this, and because I'm putting myself in someone else's shoes, like how much does it cost, or how much do I have to work with somebody like you, or someone that could help me learn about mutual funds? Like, are there resources out there that are free or are affordable?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, financial education is free online. It really is. It's really about the kind, you know, what type of work and the discipline that you want to put in to be able to start looking for that. Now, implementation now is when you need to bring someone on as a financial advisor to help you. With our way that I work, my company pays me, so my clients doesn't have to. They don't have to. My clients pay me. My company pays me well. So so when I'm sitting with a client, I go over their goals. I go over what they want to do in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and map out a plan. I look at what they have, what they don't have. Do they have debt? Let's get rid of that. We show them how to get completely debt free. So we do a lot of different things. But yeah, it's you know, other companies. There are other companies that charge fees and so on and so forth. Maybe some people are more comfortable with that, but the way that we work, my incentive is that I help my clients grow a larger net worth. Okay, so I'm financially incentive to get my clients to grow their money over
And
time.
that's good for people, I think, to know, is like, it doesn't always cost you money
Right,
to start investing.
right.
It doesn't always cost you money to learn. And I bring that up because I think, you know, sometimes people try to, one, you know, I think people think it costs money to even learn. I really do. I also think that, you know, unfortunately, some people charge you to learn because
Absolutely,
they know that it's something that, you know, isn't always available to everybody. So I think that's why I really love that you do focus on education, because you want people to understand
absolutely.
why they do it.
Yes.
So you mentioned something that I thought was really interesting, is you talked about debt.
Mhm.
So what's something that you would talk to, you know, say a single mother
Mhm.
who is in debt,
Mhm.
she's already trying to figure out her expenses,
Right,
but she's hearing what you're talking about right now about the importance of investing.
right.
How would you talk to her about really how she starts to tackle those things?
Yeah, it's just really, you know, this one of the first things I say to my clients: garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you don't share with me everything that's about your finances, I can't help you. So I'm going to need it all on the line. I need to know all your credit card bills, all your debt, hospital bills if there are any, mortgages, car notes, etc. Because what I do is I devise a plan, I create a plan where it shows you how to start tackling each and every single solitary debt. This is what most people say, solitaire. This is the scary part. So people say, well, I want to put the extra money that I have and get debt free before I start saving. Big mistake, guys. Big mistake. You've got to be able to do both. Okay. And I show you how to do that, doing both, right? And the reason why you want to do that is because if another emergency happens, guess what? You're going to continue to rack up the credit card bills, for example, and you won't have any cash to fall back on. Cash is king. Remember that phrase? Cash is king. You want to be cash rich, right? Whether it's in investments or in your bank, you want to be cash rich. So if anything ever happens, you can always go there and not go to plastic.
That's a great point. And I think that that's really important because, even if it's saving half of your stimulus check, even if it's saving a third of your stimulus check,
Absolutely.
it's about the idea that life is going to keep happening.
Absolutely.
So saving now to help you be okay in the future,
Right.
what you want to do. And if that never happens, okay, invest more. But as a mom myself, I guarantee you will spend it. Like
Right.
I
Oh,
definitely guarantee
absolutely.
that much.
Absolutely. The thing is though,
Something will happen.
what I've been seeing is that more people are, kind of using the stimulus check to kind of catch up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Catch up on the bills that were late, or the bills that just did not get paid. I mean, totally, maybe they paid partially and they didn't pay fully. So they're trying to use that to catch up. It's not even enough for a lot of people to even catch up with, right? But this is my rule of thumb when it comes to money. Anytime you get a whirlwind of money, wherever it's coming from, whether it's a tax refund, because that's a whole nother conversation, okay? A tax refund or stimulus check or inheritance, or somebody gave you money, save 20% of it. If you
I
can't
like
save
that
half,
rule.
save 20% of it.
I like that rule. So save 20%. If there's
20% of
anything you remember from this conversation,
it.
anytime you get money, save 20%.
Save
Put it
20%.
away. Don't think about it. Don't touch it.
Absolutely.
Just leave it.
Absolutely.
I mean, me personally, I'm an out of sight, out of mind person.
Hmm.
Like we have like a separate account that I used before we got married. So to me, I'm like, put it there. Because if I
Hmm.
see it, I'm gonna use it. So
Right.
I don't even I don't
Right.
even know it exists. My husband's he likes to see the bucket growing. So
Gotcha.
he gets happy when he sees it, where I'm like, nope, I don't want
Yeah.
to be tempted. Don't even,
Right.
I don't see it.
I get that.
So I want to wrap up this conversation. This is our first one. But I wanted to, what is something that you would have really like if you were speaking to I mean, obviously you were pretty well informed earlier in life, but what's something you would say to a single mom, in the same position you were when you
Have
first
tons of
started out
clients
in
like
this?
that. Tons of clients like that. I mean, specifically a single mom, I always talk to them as if I was talking to myself back then, right? And it's really about, listen, it's on you. So you've got to make this happen, right? And your child or children, they're looking at you. You've got to provide, you've got to step it up. There's lots of things. So I really just help, have them think in a bigger space, you know what I mean? And think that they can be empowered and can do more and not just settle for where they're at. They can do more. So I always use myself as an example. A lot of people when they see me, first of all, they don't even think that I have a grown daughter, a 32-year-old daughter, but but yeah, and I kind of tell my story because it was tough. It wasn't easy, right? So I sympathize with that, those people, specifically single parents. But man, it's just, I focus on getting them, saving and putting money away for their children and themselves, emergency funds, getting them completely debt free. Some of them have for goals to buy a home, and we map that plan out. I've denied a couple of people. I'm like, they want to buy a house this year, and I'm like, no, let's give it 2 years and focus on that, because there's lots of things that I do, and I really want to have them strong financially, and
That's
it's
awesome.
a journey that I take with my clients too. It's every year. It's not like, okay, great, okay, and I move on. No, they have access to me. You call me all the time. So it's all that. Yeah.
Awesome. So we always like to make sure that we give something very concrete in terms of like education every time we do an event.
Mhm.
And even though you've given us a lot of really good information, I
Mhm.
wanted to ask, is there any book or any blog or any podcast that you like to listen to? Just you find it always gives you some really good tips
Yes,
that you share?
yeah, absolutely. For anyone who is just wanting to learn about money and how what's going on in the world is affecting finance, right? Download USA Today app and read the money section. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you to work at to go pull the Wall Street Journal. Now, I used to be a news editor at the Wall Street Journal, so I understand the toughness of how they write there. They write pretty technical, but the USA Today money section is so easy to read. Is there anybody could read it from any educational background, etc., experience level can read that. So I would do that. Another website that I would go to as well for major resources is bankrate.com. I would go there. You can look up information about the best credit cards to use. You got to be smart about them though. Different bank accounts. It shows you all the bank accounts with the higher APYs. It's just an amazing resource, and I use it all the time.
Awesome. Thank you for both of those.
Yeah. Sure.
And if somebody wanted to get in contact with you to learn more about you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can reach me on cell phone, area code 917-975-4445. That's 917-975-4445. Or they can email at like Elsie or Edward, Theodore like Roosevelt, so ETHEODORE at Primerica.com. PRIMERICA.com.
Awesome. And we will also put that in the link for this video. But
Okay.
I just wanted to thank you so much, Elsie, for taking the time to talk with us, just in a really hands-on and practical way about ways that we can just get better about money.
Absolutely.
Because I think that it's just the conversation that I think we don't have a lot. People get really weird when you talk about money. They don't feel comfortable. But I think it's the one thing that if you don't have an education about, you really can't do better at.
Right. And that's why we're out here. Yeah, and that's why we're out here. We're out here going into the community, 6 years ago, we opened up an office out in New York, and the person who moved from here to go to New York, they wanted to go into the community, more of an urban community, to help people of color to start understanding money, so it's so needed, especially in our communities, but every community I find, it's just education. Let me tell you something. People are investing in their 401ks, right? And they don't even know what it looked like. They don't know anything about their 401k. How are you putting money in a 401k? You don't even know what you're investing in. So even down to those things, we kind of look at and talk about. So yeah.
I mean, even investing in 401ks, like I remember talking with my younger brother once and being like, do you know what your company offers?
Right.
Like, do you even know if they have one?
Right.
Like just little things, because I think that, especially when you're young, not that you don't think about money, but I think you always think you have time.
Right.
And I think that that's kind of the exact opposite way to think about it, which
Absolutely.
is we have time. And so we can do $10 a month and see
so much more when
so
you're
much
younger.
more, rather
Absolutely.
than like thinking, oh, I'll wait till I make more, or I have more, or I have less expenses to start,
Right. Exactly.
So I love conversations like this because it just changes the way that you think about it.
Another
and it makes
thing
it more
too,
accessible.
Yeah, another thing too is that that a lot of people don't want to start putting money in a 401k because they're like, oh, it's going to make a major difference to my paycheck, right? It's it's going to lower my pay. But a 401k, if you're putting it on a traditional side, pre-tax side rather, the money actually gets taken out before your salary is taxed, so it makes a very minimal difference to your paycheck.
That's a good point.
Best.
Yeah.
If your company is matching you, you're losing money when you're not investing. So invest in that 401k if you have one at the job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
for
the conversation. We'd love to have you back again.
I would love to be back.
And this is so helpful. So I just want to thank you again for this.
Sure.
And to everyone watching, please, follow us and share this out. Like if you have anyone that that really could use help understanding money, share this video with them, because we want to share as much information and education as we can.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for being here today, Elsie.
Thank
And we'll
you.
definitely have you back again soon.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.